Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Karen Bremer. Karen is the CEO and president of Georgia Restaurant Association. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Karen Bremer. Karen, welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be having this conversation with you today. I hope I can help enlighten people on the restaurant industry a little bit.
Wonderful. Karen, it's about you. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, I started in the restaurant business when I was 15 years old in high school to work my way through school. I was studying actually journalism in college and ended up being a restaurant manager. And then I became president of a restaurant company. I was the owner of my two owned fine dining restaurants in downtown Atlanta. And unfortunately, with the recession, I closed them. And at that point in my career, the restaurant industry said, we have an association. We want you to be our representative to the state for representing the restaurant industry here in Georgia. And I thought long and hard about it. I knew there were many skills that I would have to learn. But every day I'm inspired by restaurateurs, entrepreneurs, the depth and breadth of our industry, how much opportunity is created for people in our industry. I'm an immigrant to this country. My parents were refugees from World War II to North America, and I'm actually was born in Montreal, Canada. And after 10 years, my parents finally received our permanent alien status to immigrate to the United States after 10 years of going every year to the American consulate. And I think back to as we were crossing the border into the United States, my father pulled the car over and he said, I'm giving you the greatest gift that anybody can have. And that is the opportunity to live in the United States and to make something of yourself. And I truly believe that. I see that every day with restaurateurs, people that have, maybe they don't have a college degree, but what they have is hard work. They have a good work ethic. They're curious. They have a very important value of service to others and a very important value of responsibility. And you add the creativity of food into that. You add the hospitality element to that. And you have a perfect industry where people can excel.
That is amazing, Karen. I had no idea you two Canadians will be on this call. I'm a Canadian and American, so I'm
Okay.
immigrant.
What part of Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. I have my only living relatives besides my siblings are my uncle and his son, and they're in the Toronto area.
Yeah. So my brother lives in Mississauga and my sister lives in Brantford. So
Okay. My cousin lives in Cambridge and my uncle is up in Mount Forest.
yeah, wonderful. So let's get back to the interview instead of talking to each other. So what are the top 3 reasons why do people fail in a restaurant?
I think the first one, and this is probably a reason why many people fail at things, is they fail to listen. They fail to listen to the experts that they've hired to assist them. They fail to listen to their employees. They fail to listen to their customers. Because that is where you get your information from. So I think it's a failure to listen. I also think that not taking chances is a reason why people fail. You have to have some confidence with yourself that you're going to do something and that you are going to listen and get expert advice and make your decision. And so I think that leads to the next one, that people fail because at times they're paralyzed to make a decision. So those are to me the 3 top reasons why people fail.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Well, I'll tell you what, having to make the decision to close my restaurants that were severely impacted as a result of the Great Recession. I probably should have closed them earlier than I did. However, I was the proverbial optimistic restaurateur that just thought the business was going to get better. I had two fine dining restaurants that the average meal per person was well in excess of $100. And there was not really a way to retrofit them to be something more casual. They were very upscale restaurants. And I think that I hung on way too long and was afraid to make a decision to close them. That was my failure. And, you know, I closed my business with as much dignity and respect as I could. I returned every telephone call. I approached every person that I had financial obligations with and told them exactly what was happened. They didn't have to come chase me down. And I also placed every single employee that I had to lay off. But laying off almost 200 people was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And quite honestly, it took me a bit to recover from it because I never imagined myself doing anything other than operating restaurants. And this year I'm celebrating 47 years in the restaurant industry, but this month I'm celebrating 11 years of operating the Georgia Restaurant Association. And I took an organization that was in disarray and have turned it into a very successful organization that advocates for the industry, and we're able to accomplish great things for restaurants here in Georgia. So from my failure, I was able to rise from the ashes like Atlanta and create a career for myself where I get to help so many people. It gives me that much joy to be able to be somebody that can help somebody with a problem. And this whole COVID has been lots of problems.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
I'm known for my tenaciousness. When I have a goal in front of me, when I have a responsibility and obligation, I fulfill them. And that is something that is widely known about me, is the setting goals and seeking them out and remaining true to my own values. That's a very, very important part of it. And that kind of ties in also with my spirituality, with my relationship with others, and my commitment to my religion, and because that gives me strength to try the unknown, to be brave and go forward.
How do you deliver a 5-star client experience, your membership experience?
Well, in my organization, there's a couple skills or a couple attributes that every team member has to have from day one, and that's that we treat each other and everyone that we encounter with dignity and respect. Our restaurants, whether they're a member or not, they are our guest when we are interacting with them. I give my team the ability to say to somebody, I don't know the answer to that question, but I will find out that answer and get right back to you with the answer to your question. We always start off telephone conversations with the name and the contact information for whomever we're talking to. And we respond very quickly to emails, to telephone communication, and I expect follow through on all issues from my team to our guests, which are our restaurants.
And I can second to this one, because when I spoke with Daniel, and of course we are on this call right now, that's a testimony to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you convert your client experience into your brand ambassadors?
Oh, I will tell you that that through COVID, the amount of work that we have done on behalf of the restaurant industry, the again going back to the follow through, going back to being the gatherer of information and the central clearinghouse for anything restaurants. Um, I get emails all the time and telephone calls from people that say, we couldn't have made it through this without you. Even hourly workers, when COVID first started, in the first 2 months, we had over 400,000 new and unique users to our website, and 40% of those were hourly employees or people going to the asset that we had created for workers, which gave them information on unemployment. It gave them information on how to apply for rent relief, how to apply for food stamps, how to find aid to help them, as well as training for them. We provided $600,000 worth of free training to the restaurant industry last year, and we still have free training in certain aspects, like how to sort of how to operate in a COVID environment, how to do delivery and carry out safely, and a very important course that we've put out is an intervention course. How to deal with an angry customer, because there has been a lot of that. People have some of our government entities have demanded that we be the enforcers of masks or vaccinations, and that's not our job. That if government wants to mandate something, they need to enforce it, and not our restaurant workers. And so I think just our actions have created our members into being loyalists. And again, I have heard from many a person that we were their light in the darkness, because of the information, because of the webinars we were putting on, the updates I was doing, where I gave people, okay, this is what we're dealing with now, but you got to remember, this is where we're going, and this is, and I think in every conversation that I have with our members, and even if they're not members, with restaurants, is I thank them for getting people back to work and helping to normalize what we are, because restaurants are such an important part of our life. We celebrate occasions there. We make our business deals there. It's where we break bread with others. It's where we, as a community, come together. And yeah, so I think that's.
How do you handle rejections?
When I handle rejection by understanding what I failed to accomplish, in what I had set out to do. Was it an issue of not listening? Was it an issue of not understanding what the request or what the situation was? And I'll usually, I have no problem asking somebody, well, what did we do wrong? How, because I want to learn from that so that we can make it right in the future. And a lot of times that actually turns a rejection back into an offer, or somebody wanting, or somebody changing their mind about the rejection. Because I am open to criticism. I am one of those people that honestly wants to do better for those around me.
How do you handle an angry client?
Mm. There was a good bit of this early on in March and April of 2020. Very angry restaurateurs, some consumers also, but that's another story. I think that you have to listen to somebody. I think you have to empathize with them. I think you have to understand what is causing their anger. You need to let people talk. A lot of times people just need to get it out of their system, and then try to provide a solution for them. Let them know you're on their side. You're with them on this, and you want to help them find a solution.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for COVID vaccines.
How do you start your day?
With the newspaper and a cup of coffee.
How young are you?
I am 62.
Karen, you are not 62, you are 18 years old. Rest is all experience.
Okay, thank you for saying so. No, I still, I don't, when I look at my driver's license and I see that I'm 62, I don't believe I'm 62 because I'm still very young at heart and I still live every day trying to learn something new. To me, a day is not a day unless I learn something.
What you
And
want to do when you grow up?
Spend more time with my grandchildren and run for public office.
What are your plan to achieve your goal?
Well, my plan to achieve that goal is I need to retire first. And then I can accomplish the goal of spending more time with family and potentially running for public office.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
If I don't achieve my goal, I'll have another goal set. I will. My husband and I are both goal-oriented people. We create goals for our household, for our family, for our businesses. And if I don't achieve a goal, I usually have decided that it wasn't a goal worth achieving and then create another goal.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
With patience and grace.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
I think when I was younger, I'd take more chances. Take more chances.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Through conversation and through modeling the success of something.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
My living mentor is a gentleman by the name of George McCarrow. He was the founder of Longhorn Steaks. He and Ted Turner own and operate Ted's Montana Grill. And he is a true restaurateur that understands the importance of the employee experience on a guest dining experience. And he is always there for me when I have questions, when I'm not sure about something and I need to get a higher level view of something, and I have that much respect for him as a business person and as a human being.
Can I get an introduction to him? Because I love to have him as a guest on the show.
Yeah. I'll connect you with his assistant.
Wonderful. Why being impactful is important to you?
Because the greatest measure of success is the difference that you make on those around you. That is the truest measure of success. It's not how much money you have in the bank. It's not any of those. It's that you're doing something every day that's positive, which creates impact on those around you.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for someone that always gave back to the community and gave many, many, many people opportunities in our industry.
How can we support you?
I can be supported by getting the word out there that there is the Georgia Restaurant Association. I was just talking about that with a team member, and we were saying that it's funny that there's a lot of restaurants that don't even know that they have an association that represents them.
garestaurants.org, that's the website. So
yes,
if you're a restaurant owner, why they need to become a member of GA Restaurants?
They need to become a member because we are their advocates. We ensure that government understands how their restaurant operates, what their profit margins are, and we educate elected officials on the ramifications of their decisions and how they're going to affect 11% of the workforce in Georgia, the second largest private sector employer. And then we also are the industry that gets laws passed to protect them, laws passed to help them, and we are also an education conduit. And I'm also a spokesperson to ensure that there's positive awareness about our industry, that people really understand the good that restaurants do in their communities.
So you go ahead. If you are a restaurant owner, and if you are not a restaurant owner, you're watching Karen and us together, go ahead and share it with the tag someone restaurant owner, because that will impact a better environment for all of us. garestaurants.org, visit and become a member to Georgia Restaurants Association.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of money. It's $295 a restaurant, but the impact that one gets from that, the Restaurant Association was able to get municipalities to allow for to-go beer and wine. The restaurant industry was responsible for getting the governor to pass the COVID liability protection, to get the state legislature to adopt and change the state tax code so that the funding, the aid that everybody received was not taxable income for them. We were also successful at the brunch bill. We were also successful at passing the mixed drinks to go, and many other things. Fuel choice was a big issue for us this year, making sure that municipalities couldn't ban certain sources of fuel. We want freedom of whether you want to use electricity, whether you want to use solar power, whether you want to use natural gas, biothermal energy. That was a very important one, because in other parts of our country, they're banning certain types of energy in restaurants, in homes, and in small businesses. And we fought to get protection from them.
Karen, we are about to wrap up. I'd like to have a few words about today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I really enjoyed this conversation. You asked very good questions, and I think a good interviewer helps you to get a little bit more introspective about yourself and realize things about yourself. So you were uplifting today for me.
What would you say as a final word?
My final word today would be patience with our restaurants is really necessary right now. The restaurant industry has been through so much hardship this last 18 months. And when you dine out in a restaurant and it's short-staffed, it's not because the business wants to be short-staffed. So please be kind and please be patient with each other right now. It's so important. We're all human beings and we're all in this together.
Yeah, please be kind, please be patient. So thank you so much for Karen for sharing your wisdom with us today. My last word is, if you're a restaurant owner and you are like a director, board of directors of your Georgia Restaurants Association, or anyone who owns a restaurant, I love to interview them, because we want to bring the awareness, and plus that will help Georgia Restaurant Association as well. And plus the guests, they will know that they will know your story. Right now they're probably kind of yelling and angry because they don't know your story. This is your opportunity to share your story together. What do you think, Karen?
Yep. Well, listen, it's a pleasure meeting you. Pleasure. I hope to meet you in person someday soon.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you. Bye.